I was just sitting down to do some missions in my anime video game when Marvel Snap dropped on us one of their biggest set of updates in some time, an updated development roadmap. We've got some absolutely awesome things in here. Let's run through what the top level has, and then we'll dive on into some of the details that they've shared about what some of these things mean. The coming soon grouping here are things that will have release dates in the not too distant future. They are mostly finalized and are going to be getting out to the players very soon. In development means that they've got some thinking done on it, but they aren't going to be releasing anytime soon. And in concept means these are ideas that are still up on a drawing board somewhere and are subject to likely big changes. The coming soon stuff here, we've got PC launch, Twitch drops, card improvement upgrades, seasonal audio. I know that's going to be a big one. Conquest Polish, infinite rank revamps, and global matchmaking, what's labeled as phase 1 here. In development is a prestige level. Excited to see what that means. Some improvements to spotlight caches, collectible emotes and card emojis, a personalized shop, smart decks, new infinite splits and split system improvements, and ultimate variant evolution. Let's go ahead and dive on into some of these details and talk about what I think they could mean for the future of Marvel Snap. Definitely the feature that I personally am most excited for is the official PC launch for Marvel Snap. It's going to not only bring feature parity, things like in-game rewards in the inbox and the news tab finally being functional, but they're doing more than just making this mobile UI work on the PC. They've re-imaged all of the things that are Marvel Snap to the wide screen. The main menu, the collection manager, the gameplay, and everything else is going to be optimized for being played in a wide screen PC setting. And hopefully this one is coming real soon because this is what I want more than anything in this feature list. Seasonal audio is an interesting addition. The menu music is going to be changing based on the flavor of the season that's currently being played. It is noteworthy that this is just the menu music, so that battle music inside of your ladder matches in Conquest does not sound like it's going to be changing based on this description, but that could always be added at some point in the future. Personally, I think it would be kind of nice if we got a small rotation of in-game musics for both modes. That way it just wasn't constantly the same thing. That being said, the in-game music's not bad now, but more variety would definitely help contribute to the spice of life. Up next, we have card upgrade improvements that specifically note they're going to be coming in the next patch, which is scheduled for this upcoming Tuesday, August 8th. The first is multi-upgrade here, which will let you upgrade multiple steps all in a single go. As someone who just spent almost 11,000 credits from the Pro Bundle Mach 2 splitting my copy of Death several times, there was about 10 minutes of my life in there that I really wanted to get back. And moving forward with this multi-upgrade option, that'll be something that we can do. The second here is an interesting one. So upgrade with gold. The example they give is you got an ultra quality card with 48 boosters, close to that infinity split, but those last couple of boosters won't drop. Upgrade with gold lets you finish a card upgrade even if you don't have all the required boosters or credits to split the gap with the gold value. So there's no ratio or detail here on what exactly that split the gap is going to cost. I guess we'll find out on Tuesday, but the devil's definitely in the detail here. It's also worth noting that being able to forego earning boosters to spend gold to upgrade a card means that there's going to be a very direct source to just spend gold to upgrade your cards to get collection levels now, which means players starting out at any point can just spend gold endlessly to upgrade their collection track level. This is a pretty big jump from the space that we once occupied when I started playing Marvel Snap over a year ago at this point, where the amount of credits you could get in a single day was very gated. Now it seems that if you bust out your credit card, the sky is really the limit, or I should say your credit limit is the limit when it comes to how much progress you can make in just a short amount of time. Finally, rounding out the coming soon section, we've got some polish being added to the conquest screens, which will be some much welcome additions. We've got an improved loss flow. They've heard us loud and clear that we don't need to be kicked a second time when we are down and out. They're going to speed up / tap to skip some of the animations. Hallelujah. Updated mute behavior, now stay quiet. I assume this means if I mute someone during one game of Conquest, I don't have to mute them every single game for the rest of the match. And some other general UI UX improvements are in store for this game mode as well. As we move into looking at items that are flagged as in development, these are concepts that I would heavily encourage you to give constructive and polite feedback to Second Dinner on based on what you hear here. They list these as things that could change dramatically as they move from in development to the coming soon section. So if there's feedback to give that could shape the future of Marvel Snap, the items listed here are definitely ones that are ripe for the shaping, starting with prestige level. Ever wish a pixel variant avatar or title you received turned into an awesome reward? Yeah, I think every time anybody has opened any of those three things, they're like, man, I wish this was better. Us too. Prestige level introduces a new rewards track when you acquire any new cosmetics. Juice up your prestige enough to unlock brand new infinity splits and more. We'll keep building on prestige level into the future with albums that drip bonus prestige and exclusive thematic cosmetics. So this sounds like it's going to be like another collection level track that will only go up anytime you get a cosmetic. I don't know that there's really enough detail for me here to think about this too much. I guess at a base level, this is aimed to provide like a little bit less feel bad from the experience of opening these like bottom three types of cosmetics. And in my mind, like pixel variants, avatars, and titles basically only exist as far as cosmetic items go to be filler inside of things on the track, just so people aren't farming all of the 700 gold variants at a breakneck speed. So as a means to make those feel slightly less bad because they at least put a tick in another bucket, this seems like it can't hurt at the very least, so long as it's just more free stuff on top. Up next, they have what are listed as Spotlight cache improvements. Now, it is noteworthy that this first thing isn't actually a change to the Spotlights themselves, but it's a change to the reserves under the new Spotlight system. Specifically, they're going to be replacing the 50 token reserves that you would get when you're Series 3 complete with a 100 token reserves and a gold conquest ticket. It's noteworthy that this change doesn't actually result in the players getting a additional collector's tokens than they're getting now, but it does improve the psychology of that reward that was just such a pittance that it really felt like an insult rather than a reward. It doesn't surprise me that they're not increasing the total overall income that players are getting from these things. As I covered in my Spotlight economy breakdown video last week, the new system is giving players more stuff than they've ever gotten before, so it doesn't surprise me that they're not fixing this by just throwing more stuff at the players. I'd be curious from feedback from those of you at home. Do you think a conquest ticket is a reasonable reward, or is there something else they could be giving you in that slot aside from just saying, Jeff, give me more tokens, that isn't that could be reasonable? I actually think the gold conquest ticket is kind of an eloquent solution to making the psychology of these reserves feel better without simply throwing more currency at people. It encourages folks to actually play the new game mode that they might not otherwise be touching, and getting to skip the proving grounds and a couple of silver matches is a welcome change for someone like myself on occasion who's already engaging with the game mode. As far as the Spotlights themselves are concerned, all of the changes that are in development for those are simply UI UX improvements. The actual icon for the Spotlight cache, as well as the random series 4 and 5 cards going to be changing. There's going to be a new opening flow and reward experience, and this one is definitely one that's going to be a welcome change for many. Spotlight caches will now be hold to open, meaning when you're leveling up your collection level track and idly clicking on all the red dots along the track, you're not going to accidentally open a spotlight when you really didn't intend to, just out of force of habit. Up next, they have some planned improvements to the Ultimate variants. The Ultimate variants are those 5,000 collector's tokens variants in the shop. That's really just such an astronomical price. You have to be a huge whale to even consider picking them up. As someone who spends a lot on Marvel Snap, I don't even have any of these Ultimate variants, and I really didn't plan on picking them up in the short term. That being said, if they make them more epic, I might be persuaded for a few of them. Things like custom voice and sound effects, different animation styles for these cards to really make them stand out could be big swings for whales who want to show off their cosmetic spending. These last few things are just listed as in concept, so they're pretty vague to the point where I don't even know that reading over the details here matters. If you want to read them for yourself, I'm going to link this whole article that I'm reviewing in the video description down below. So they're thinking about things that pertain to guilds or clans for social things, mythic variants, PC controller support, new game mode, and seasonal journey improvements. Honestly, out of all of these things, new game modes and PC controller support, I think would be the two things I'd be most interested in. I think controller support should honestly probably be a higher priority for their team, because once you get controller support on the PC, not only is it an accessibility option, but being able to transition your game from PC to consoles like the Nintendo Switch or PlayStation or whatever the Microsoft Xbox 35 is, or whatever they're called these days, is a good way to get more players into your game by being on more platforms. I'd love to know if any of these in-concept things sound exciting to you. All in all, I gotta say, I'm excited for this updated roadmap. As someone who's been making content in the games industry focused on card games and strategy games for over a decade now, I really have to say the amount of communication and transparency we get from Second Dinner is refreshing after working with a lot of other game companies over the years. They're definitely not perfect by any means, but it really feels like they go above and beyond and consistently exceed my personal expectations for what I want to see and hear from a company making the game that I'm playing. As always, if you enjoyed my musings on the topic, be sure to snap that like button to help this video reach some more people. I'll be back again real soon with some more excellent Marvel Snap content. As always, thanks for tuning in, folks.